Hi, it's Ursula from EasyScraps.com, and today I'm doing an experiment. I am not sure whether it's going to come out the way I'm envisioning it, but I am going to give it a shot. So today I am using, this is cross-stitch fabric, and I was thinking, oh, there's some texture to it. I don't know if you can see that. It seems like it would be very cool to stamp on, but I'm imagining it's not going to work without adding some gesso to it. So I am going to try to do that. I'm going to add some clear gesso over the top. I could use white as well. And I'm hoping that this will give me some tooth so that I can come back and stamp on this later. I'm just using a palette knife to smear it on. And I'm doing this on a Ranger craft sheet so that I can let it dry and I know it'll peel up afterwards. So that looks pretty well covered. And I'm just going to go off and let that dry. But in the meanwhile, I have another piece of cool fabric. It's actually window sheeting, this black stuff. And I'm not sure whether the gesso is going to adhere directly to it without kind of going through it. So I'm going to do an experiment with this. I'm going to do half, put this over so you can see it a little bit better. I'm going to do half with gel medium and let it dry. You can always add the gesso on top of that. So this is the gel medium. I'm just smearing on the top. And I'm going to let that dry. But I'm also going to do part of it with just the gesso. And I'm going to do clear because I want the black to show through. And this is what I'm thinking, this may be too thin and it may not seal it the way that I'm thinking it will need to be sealed. The other piece, the white piece, didn't have as much distance in the holes, so there's a little more closed weave than this fabric is, than this window sheeting is. I was trying to avoid picking up that watercolor paint. Okay, so I'm going to go off and let that dry. And I want to just show you quickly why I came up with this idea. So here is, we did the technique before where I stamped on tissue and adhered it to paper so that you could see through what was underneath. So here's that same piece of window sheeting. And in this case, I stamped on a piece of tissue paper using white StazOn ink and then used the gesso to adhere it to the window sheeting. And that looks really cool. But I was wondering if I could do sort of this idea, but in a one-step process. So we're going to go off and let this dry, and I may smooth out that gesso a little bit with my finger. And once it's dry, we'll come back and we'll try stamping on it. See you in a few. Hi, and I'm back, and I've let the cross-stitch fabric dry as well as the window screening, and then I actually went back over and gave both pieces another coat of clear gesso. So if you remember, part of this had the medium on it, and then part of it was just gesso, and then this was just the clear gesso as well. And so they're both dry now, and I'm going to try. Now remember, I don't know how this is going to work, whether it's even going to work or not, but I'm going to try StazOn Opaque White, and I've inked my stamp. Obviously I'm doing this so that we can actually see it on the black. And I'm going to go ahead and give it a shot and see what happens. Ooh, cool. So it actually did stamp now that I've done a coat of the medium and the gesso. And now I'm thinking, oh yeah, you can see the texture. So this technique is called kissing off. Generally you use a rubber stamp and you kiss off of either something textural like the window screening or another stamp, and then you can stamp. So now I'm kind of getting a twofer. I've stamped on the window screening, and now I'm going to go ahead, hopefully I won't wreck that. Now I'm going to go ahead and stamp on cardstock, and hopefully there's enough ink left. Cool. And so now I get a print, I don't know if you can see with the shadow, that has the window screening. Let me try and zoom instead. The texture of the window screening in it. Cool. So yeah, it's a twofer. And then now that I've stamped on this, I could actually peel it off and then use it on top of something. Top of something else. Cool. Alright, so that worked, and then I'm assuming the cross-stitch fabric is going to work as well. Let me quickly try and clean. Yeah, if I can find my cleaner. Yeah, there we go. I'll try and quickly clean off the white ink. Yeah, good enough. And then let's use black to go on the white cross-stitch fabric, which has now been contaminated because the mat underneath, when I was putting on the gesso, had some water colors on it. It kind of picked it up as I was brushing on the gesso. So here we go. Black on the cross stitch, and this actually may pick up some texture as well, so I may be able to get a twofer out of that one. That actually came out a little bit lighter than the window screening did. So there's the two results. I don't know that I would do the cross stitch fabric. Well, it's kind of cool. Yeah, just something different. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed that video, and we'll see you next time.